Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 25th of May 2026. Now unfortunately, Satoshi, so far the price of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, it has fallen down a lot since the last time we spoke. And the last time we spoke was on the 22nd of May and that was Bitcoin Pizza Day. Now unfortunately guys, since then, the market sentiment has changed as well. And right now the market sentiment is fear. In the last 2 weeks, the market sentiment was at neutral. But here's an interesting catch, Satoshi. President Donald Trump, he did post something really interesting via Truth Social a few days ago, and because of that, I do anticipate the market sentiment to change, and this is connected to a peace agreement in Iran. So what we'll do in today's episode, we'll go ahead and discuss what is it that President Donald Trump has actually posted via Truth Social. Now am I right in saying, Satoshi, the moment you get a peace agreement, the geopolitical chaos will definitely calm down, and that will definitely have a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
That's quite a comprehensive summary, George. You're right that the market sentiment has shifted significantly since Bitcoin Pizza Day. Regarding the potential peace agreement in Iran, any development that reduces geopolitical tension could certainly influence investor confidence, though the exact impact on Bitcoin is often uncertain. It's also worth noting that many factors contribute to these trends. We'll be exploring that more, including the post you mentioned.
Absolutely correct, Satoshi. And for our listeners, you should know, there is also a Fox News commentator or reporter called Trey Yingst, and he has provided additional information regarding this. Now all this thing being said, Satoshi, both the sides are still working regarding this particular deal, and the deal has not been finalized, but I'm pretty much sure because of this update, things will definitely be reflecting positively. But I'm glad you mentioned so far as the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are concerned, geopolitics is only one part of it, so thank you so very much for that. But in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. Now, the next news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is an interesting one, and this is connected to Bitcoin options and the United Securities and Exchange Commission. They have approved Nasdaq having a Bitcoin options. Now, this move, according to me, is definitely a positive move, and I'm pretty much sure, Satoshi, it'll definitely be having a cascading effect, isn't it? So, listeners should definitely check out what this news is all about. Now, the next is Satoshi is connected to Neo Protocol, and they have 3 different updates. So, in today's episode, we'll go ahead and take a deep dive into what this update is. And here's the thing, Satoshi, the update focuses on privacy, artificial intelligence, as well as scalability. This, according to me, is definitely an interesting move, so we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. Now, the final news, Satoshi, unfortunately, is a negative news, and this is connected to an exploit, and this is connected to a stable coin. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into this. Now look, whenever there's an exploit, hack, or manipulation, it is definitely not great, particularly for customers, but even for the broader ecosystem, it definitely does not paint a good picture, isn't it, Satoshi?
That's certainly true. Any exploit or vulnerability seriously harms trust in the entire ecosystem. We'll be looking into the specifics of that particular incident and its implications. It sounds like we have a packed episode, covering regulatory decisions and major protocol updates as well.
So it looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news is all the way from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and 2 giant companies, that is Yumin, which is backed by the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. They are collaborating with McKinsey, and here's the thing, guys, they want to deliver AI transformation in Saudi Arabia. Now look, Satoshi, so far Saudi Arabia is concerned, they're definitely taking leaps and bounds in the world of artificial intelligence. So it is absolutely no surprise that McKinsey is actually merged up with them. Now the next news, Satoshi, is an interesting news. And this is about the RTA in Dubai, that is Road Transport Authority of Dubai. And check this out. They are launching a new system that will actually predict marine transport demand in real time. Really interesting development, isn't it? Now look, Satoshi, when you talk about artificial intelligence, there are a plethora of use cases, isn't it? And it looks like the Middle East is definitely taking leaps and bounds. So we'll definitely go ahead and delve into quite a lot of these things in today's episode. But before we go ahead and do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. And they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mena giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, If you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, cause they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code BlockchainDXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Cause for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, cause you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out.
And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now unfortunately guys, if you look at the global cryptocurrency market, it has fallen down a lot, and right now it is only at $2.64 trillion. And what I really am not liking is the 24-hour volume. Since the last 24 hours, it is only at $76.2 billion. But you also need to remember Satoshi. We are looking at these numbers in the early hours of Dubai. And because of President Donald Trump's announcement regarding Iran agreement, I do anticipate the volume to increase. So what are the key factors Satoshi, our listeners, should keep an eye on? Keeping in mind the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, also keeping in backdrop the Iran agreement.
The key factors to watch are the geopolitical updates regarding the agreement, alongside the broader market trends and investor confidence. You'll also want to keep an eye on trading volume and technical indicators. Those are the main drivers to consider.
Definitely, Satoshi, and in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll definitely go and take a deep down to all of these things. Now, one matrix which I'm definitely not liking since the last 24 hours, this is connected to decentralized exchange, and unfortunately, since the last 24 hours, the volume is still below the $5 billion mark. It is at $4.91 billion, and if you look at the total fees connected for these transactions, Satoshi, it is at $57.15 million, and the total very locked is consistently on a downtrend. The date is below the $82 billion mark. It is at $81.73 billion. And one matrix Satoshi which gives an indication as to how many people are using centralized exchange. This is the decentralized to centralized exchange dominance or ratio. To date is only at 23.25%. But the next matrix Satoshi, according to me, is a very strong indicator. And this is crypto ETF outflows. Now mind you guys, this particular information is actually taken from the last day, that is Friday. and it shows that the crypto outflows is accounting to $95.1 million. But here's the thing, guys. President Donald Trump, since the last 24 hours, has actually put out some really powerful information regarding Iran agreement. Based on my understanding, the moment trading kicks in today, these crypto ETF outflows could eventually change into inflows, and that will definitely trigger positive momentum on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? What is your take regarding it?
I tend to agree, George. If positive developments around the Iran agreement materialize, sentiment could change quickly, turning outflows into inflows and potentially boosting prices. The DEX volume drop you mentioned, along with the total value locked, does highlight a current period of caution, but that could reverse too. We might have more clarity on that tomorrow.
Now in the Blockchain DXB podcast, Satoshi will definitely go ahead and update all the information to our listeners. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to read out the matrix that is connected to decentralized exchange, and I want you to tell our listeners what is the matrix for the top 5 exchange for our listeners, please.
For the 24-hour DEX volume by platform, Uniswap holds the top spot with $1.24 billion. PancakeSwap follows at $66,101,000. Aerodrome is at $5,996,221,000. Project X shows $183,229,000. And Hyperliquid recorded $168,442,000. That covers the top 5.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. But here's the thing, guys, the volume of stablecoins isn't looking that great. But you also need to remember, guys, we are looking at these numbers in the early hours of Dubai. And truth be told, technically it is still Sunday in most of the Western countries. Now I'm pretty much sure the moment hours go by, these numbers will drastically increase. But if you look at the volume of Tether USDT right now, it is showing as only $56.63 billion. And the 24-hour volume of Circle USDC, guys, is below the $10 billion mark. It is only at $8.20 billion. And FDUSD once again is at number 3rd. But its 24-hour trading volume is $223.38 million. Now why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners the market cap of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours, as well as the dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum and Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
So looking at the numbers, Bitcoin's market cap is $1.53 billion, and its trading volume is $24.05 billion for the last day. Its dominance is at 58.10%. For Ethereum, the market cap is $253.49 billion, with $13.79 billion in trading volume and a dominance of 9.60%. Finally, Binance has an $88.44 billion market cap, and its volume is $1.20 billion. That's the current picture.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, Binance BNB Coin right now is at number 3rd, but depending on how the market reacts tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if Ripple overtakes the market cap of Binance BNB Coin once again. Now look, Satoshi, in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we tend to look at one new matrix, and because according to me, the engine of the cryptocurrency world is the volume of stable coin, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi, for our listeners? Why don't you tell our listeners all the matrix that is connected to stable coins, and also tell our listeners the market cap for the top 5 platform, please?
Right, George. The stablecoin's market cap today is $318 billion, holding steady over the last 24 hours. Tether USDT is way out front with a market cap of $188.49 billion. USDC is next at $76.40 billion, followed by USDS at $11.13 billion. Then you have USD1 at $4.78 billion, and Athena USDE at $4.44 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And according to me, look, guys, based on any information that we get regarding Iran agreement, I'm pretty much sure the numbers will drastically change this entire week. And am I right in saying Satoshi this week could actually set the direction on how the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be heading towards the rest of this year?
You're right, George. This week's developments could be crucial. Positive news on the Iran agreement could spark a rally, but any setbacks will likely cause turbulence. It's definitely a pivotal point.
Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin? Tell our listeners what the price is, what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days. As a matter of fact, do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and read that out for you. Bitcoin's price is currently $76,499 with a 24-hour change of plus 1.56% and a 7-day change of minus 1.82%. Ethereum is at $2,098, up 2.01% in the last day, but down 3.64% over the week. And finally, Binance BNB is trading at $656. It's seen a plus 1.34% change in 24 hours, and plus 0.8% over the last 7 days.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. But here's the thing, guys. If you look at the market sentiment, it has actually changed from neutral to fear. And the number associated is 38. But as we talked about a few minutes ago, Satoshi, there's some positive development regarding Iran. But look, guys, here's the important thing to remember. Mainstream media, they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And they're putting out non-stop misleading and fake news information. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, go ahead and follow President Donald Trump out through social. And along with that, Satoshi, there's also a reporter from Fox, and this particular person's name is Trey Yingst. Now, before we go ahead and talk about it, do you want to tell our listeners who's Trey Yingst? And I believe he's currently in Dubai, isn't it?
Trey Yingst is a foreign correspondent for Fox News, known for reporting from various conflict zones and international hotspots, including the Middle East. He's been based in Jerusalem for some time.
Actually, Satoshi, since the last few months, he's in Dubai. And here's the thing, Satoshi, President Donald Trump has also reposted his tweet via his own social media platform called Truth Social. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's break down what is going on regarding Iran. Now, President Donald Trump did actually post something roughly around 24 hours ago. And this was regarding a conference call where leaders on the Middle East were present. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners a bit of information regarding this particular post? And then, guys, we'll go and discuss what is it that President Donald Trump literally posted a few hours ago. And according to me, guys, there is a very high possibility there might be coming an end to Iran agreement, and hopefully in a positive way. And if that thing happens, I'm pretty much sure the market of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will definitely be impacting positively. But why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you summarize a post that was put out by President Donald Trump via Truth Social? And he did actually post this thing roughly around 24 hours ago. So do you want to explain to our listeners the significance of this post, please?
Right, George. President Trump posted about a recent conference call he had with leaders from countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain. The discussion centered around the Islamic Republic of Iran and a potential peace agreement, specifically mentioning that an agreement has been largely negotiated and details, including the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, are being finalized. He also mentioned a separate positive call with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. So it suggests significant progress on regional diplomacy. And yes, Trey Yingst has indeed been reporting from Dubai.
Now, before we get into Trey Yingst, Satoshi, President Donald Trump did actually post another post, and this was roughly around 6 hours ago. Do you want to tell our listeners what this post is? Now, the reason why I wanted to do this is because, based on the information that is put out by President Donald Trump, we can make some assessment as to which direction the Iran agreement is heading towards, isn't it? Now, do you want to tell our listeners what the second post is? And I'm looking at Truth Social right now. President Donald Trump has also made another post. Now, after you go ahead and explain to our listeners what the second post is, let's go ahead and take a deep dive into what the third post is, okay?
In this post, President Trump strongly criticizes the previous Iran nuclear deal by the Obama administration, calling it one of the worst deals ever, and arguing that it paved the way for Iran to develop a nuclear weapon. He contrasts that with the current negotiations by his administration, describing them as orderly and constructive, while stating that pressure will continue until an agreement is reached and certified. He also suggests that Iran might one day join the Abraham Accords. Now, if you have another post in mind, just let me know what it says or what you'd like to break down.
Yes, I've sent you the third post, Satoshi, and this did actually happen roughly a few minutes ago. Do you want to tell our listeners what this post is all about?
In this latest post, President Trump reiterates his stance on the negotiations, emphasizing that any future deal with Iran will be good and proper, in contrast to the Obama-era deal. He claims the previous agreement gave Iran massive amounts of cash and a path to nuclear weapons. Interestingly, he notes that the final terms aren't even yet decided, telling listeners not to listen to critics who don't know the details.
You know what, Satoshi, I do think President Donald Trump is 100% right, because mainstream media, guys, they are definitely suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, and to be honest, they would rather see the country fail. That is the amount of hatred that they have for President Donald Trump. Now, for our listeners, Satoshi, what I'd really recommend to do is go ahead and follow Trey Yingst, who's the chief foreign correspondent at Fox News, because here's the thing, Satoshi, he did actually post something on X, and President Donald Trump did actually post it via Truth Social. Now, one of the reasons why this post is important is because, Satoshi, this particular post that President Donald Trump reposted is more connected to nuclear weapons. And here's the thing, Satoshi, let me tell you what he actually posted, alright? Trey Yingst actually posted that the Iranian president did actually state that we are ready to assure the world that we are not seeking nuclear weapons, we are not seeking instability in the region. Now, mind you guys, all this thing sounds really great, But here's the thing, Satoshi, the president of Iran did not actually post it via X. Maybe he did actually say this during meeting, or maybe it was on at one of the local television channels. Unfortunately for us, there is no way to go ahead and verify it, but what I'd really urge our listeners to do is for the next 24 to 48 hours, avoid watching mainstream media, go ahead and check out President Donald Trump's post via Truth Social, and then also follow Trey Ying's via X, because he's the one who's posting quite a lot of useful information. And along with that, Satoshi, is it a good idea to follow the president of Iran, as well as the foreign minister of Iran, and also maybe the Prime Minister of Pakistan, because he's the one who's negotiating peace deals, isn't it? And along with that, maybe it is a good idea to follow Marco Rubio, who's currently in India, and also Pete Hegseth, and maybe even Centicom. And by doing that, guys, you would essentially be looking at the information from official sources, isn't it? Now, it's going to be really interesting to see, Satoshi, what the outcome to this is. Now, let's say, Satoshi, if Iran does actually agree to President Donald Trump's requirement and no longer proceeds with their nuclear ambitions, I do feel there'll be stability in the Middle East, and once that thing happens, it is going to be reacting positively for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
You're right, George. It seems like there's a real opportunity here. If President Trump's negotiations pan out, it could lead to much greater stability in the Middle East. That could definitely improve supply chain management by reducing risk and generally create a more positive environment for trade and investment. I agree that could be great for the economy overall.
And what about avoid listening at mainstream media, Satoshi? Because you're definitely suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, isn't it? Would you agree to the list of people I mentioned in order to get information from official sources?
I definitely agree, George, that getting information from those direct sources is a smart strategy, especially when you feel mainstream media isn't being fully objective, or might be biased, as you put it, with Trump derangement syndrome. Following President Trump directly, Trey Yingst, and official government accounts can give you access to the statements and news firsthand. It seems like a solid way to form your own opinion based on primary sources. Anything else you'd like to discuss from that list?
The only thing I wanted to say is, Satoshi, as of now, nothing is signed yet, and talks are active and advancing, but at the same time, it is still fragile, so it is going to be really interesting to see what the outcome to this is. The only thing I can say is, look guys, Trump is framing the situation as positive progress, but at the same time, it is important to remember that this particular deal is not finished. But knowing President Donald Trump, Satoshi, I'm pretty much sure there'll be peace in the Middle East, and who should say maybe even Iran can go and join the Abraham Accords. Definitely interesting and hopefully positive times ahead. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi, let's go and discuss another news, and this is connected to Bitcoin options. And the news, guys, is that the US Securities and Exchange Commission, they have approved Nasdaq's plan to list Bitcoin index options on its exchange, and the new product, guys, is called as QBTC, that is Q for Quebec, B for Bravo, T for Tango, and C for Charlie. And here's the thing, guys, it'll allow investors to trade Bitcoin-related options without directly owning their own Bitcoin. And the system uses pricing data from major crypto exchanges and special safeguards to reduce manipulation risk and improve accuracy. Now, officials believe, guys, that this particular move could actually help investors manage Bitcoin exposure, and more importantly, they can do it more safely inside a regulated US finance market. Now, what do you think of this particular news, Satoshi? And can you tell our listeners what kind of an impact does it have on a macro level? And do you see any cascading effects because of this move?
Okay, George. Looking at this Nasdaq Bitcoin options news, it's definitely a significant step, as it allows investors to trade options related to Bitcoin without actually owning the cryptocurrency itself. This new product, QBTC, uses pricing data from major crypto exchanges and includes safeguards designed to minimize manipulation and keep pricing accurate. In my opinion, George, the macro-level impact is that this makes Bitcoin more accessible for institutional investors and traditional finance. The cascading effect, George, could be increased liquidity and possibly higher prices as more capital comes in. It also sends a signal that regulators are getting more comfortable with digital asset products, which could lead to even more innovation, George. Do you agree with that assessment?
I agree to it, definitely, but look, I do have some apprehensions. Now, here's the important thing, Satoshi. This particular move definitely takes away the whole ownership of Bitcoin, isn't it? And according to me, look, this goes against the very ethos of why Bitcoin was created. What is your take regarding it?
You've raised a really valid point, George. The foundational idea of Bitcoin was about decentralization and personal ownership. Using options to gain exposure without holding the asset does take that direct ownership away, which could be seen as a philosophical conflict, as you suggest. It depends on whether you view Bitcoin as a speculative investment or as a tool for financial independence.
But here's the thing, Satoshi, news such as this definitely has a very positive impact, particularly in marketing, and when mainstream media talks about it, it does actually put Bitcoin in a limelight, and more importantly, it puts it in a positive way as well as in it, so I'll definitely take that as a win. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi, let's go ahead and discuss next news, and this is connected to Neo Protocol. And here's the thing, guys, Neo Protocol has launched 3 upgrades, and these upgrades, Satoshi, is connected to privacy, AI and scalability. So let's do one thing, Satoshi, let's go ahead and break this news for our listeners, alright? Now the news, Satoshi, is that this particular move focuses on private payroll, private balances, as well as private transactions, and Neo AI, so far as artificial intelligence is concerned, has also added automatic privacy protection for your prompts that is actually sent to OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic Cloud, as well as Google Gemini, and they're promising to keep sensitive data on users' devices. Now look, Satoshi, because of this particular move, the token connected to Neo Protocol has also picked up pace, and for our listeners, Satoshi, you should know, another upcoming upgrade called as dynamic resharding will actually let Neo automatically scale to over 70 shards, potentially giving the network higher transaction throughput, and this will be more than Visa as well, and this will be done for future AI agent activity and on-chain commerce. Now look, Satoshi, based on this news, what are the key areas you think Neo Protocol should be focusing on, and what do you think could actually go wrong?
Well, George, Neo Protocol needs to keep focusing on making these upgrades for privacy, AI, and scalability really easy for developers and people to actually use. They also have to prove that their data protection, like keeping prompts safe, genuinely works and that they can handle that massive scale with sharding. There's always a risk, George, that these complex upgrades could have bugs, or that competing protocols might move faster and offer something even better. Also, keeping everything professional and stable will be key to long-term confidence. That's my take on it, George.
That's a really simple and interesting take, Satoshi, really like that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi, let's go and talk about an exploit. Do you want to tell our listeners what this exploit is and what is the latest update regarding this, please?
So here's the thing, George. Stabler suffered an exploit that caused its EURR and USDR stablecoins to lose their pegs, with about $2.8 million stolen so far. Blockchain security firm Blockade says the attack was likely because of a compromised private key in a weak 1 of 3 multi-sig wallet setup, not a smart contract bug. The attacker took control, created millions of fake stablecoins, and swapped a huge amount for Ether because there wasn't enough market liquidity. That's why EURR fell significantly, George, and USDR too, adding to a bunch of recent exploits in DeFi. There aren't any updates yet on fund recovery.
This is definitely not good, isn't it, Satoshi? Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, that this particular stablecoin was MiCA compliant, or am I completely wrong on this?
Actually, George, MiCA, which is the European Union's regulation for crypto assets, hasn't fully come into effect yet for stablecoins, though parts of it will apply soon. So Stabler wouldn't have been regulated by MiCA at the time of this exploit. They were operating under current market standards, which clearly need stronger security packages.
Now, this is definitely not good, and it does remind me of the FTX collapse, isn't it? Now, whenever there's depegging, Satoshi, the implications are definitely much stronger than expected, but because of its market cap being relatively low, I don't anticipate much further damage to be done, isn't it?
You're drawing a parallel to the FTX collapse, George, in terms of how destabilizing depegging can be. And you make a good point that it can cause real panic and wider issues. However, for Stabler, because its market cap was smaller, the overall damage is likely limited compared to a major player like FTX. So you're probably right that the systemic risk isn't as high here.
Well, the only thing I can say, Satoshi, I'm hoping that the customers are not impacted by this. Definitely unfortunate news. So look, these are some macro level news on the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. Now let's go ahead and discuss the first news, and this is connected to McKinsey and UMain, and they have decided to collaborate on delivering AI transformation in Saudi Arabia. And here's the thing, guys, the collaboration focuses on helping Saudi organization use AI more effectively, and the goal is pretty simple. They want to turn AI experiments into real business results, and companies, guys, will aim to improve performance, reduce cost, and increase revenue using artificial intelligence. And so far as UMain is concerned, they will be the one who will provide AI platforms, infrastructure, and localized applications, and McKinsey, guys, will help businesses identify where artificial intelligence can create the biggest impact. And here's the thing, guys, Quantum Black will actually build and deploy scalable AI system, and additional engineering support may come from ThoughtWorks when needed. Now this partnership, Satoshi, does aim to bring AI into everyday business operations across enterprises, and McKinsey actually says successfully adoption requires changing how work is done, and this can be done not just by using technology. And UMain regarding this news is saying that the next stage of AI is actually scaling successful solutions across organizations. Now here's the important thing to remember, Satoshi. McKinsey's research found that 84% of GCC organizations now currently use artificial intelligence, and this is up 62% in 2023. But many companies still struggle to deeply integrate AI into workflows and operations. Now, this particular partnership wants to solve this challenge by helping firms fully scale AI usage, and one focus area is complete end-to-end AI transformation across businesses, and another focus, guys, is in creating advanced agentic AI applications tailored for different industries. And the AI tools, guys, will also improve support functions like finance, HR, procurement, and also customer operations. Now look, this collaboration, Satoshi, according to me, emphasizes secure and responsible AI adoption, and they're doing that with strong data governance and regional compliance, isn't it? So what is your take regarding this particular partnership, Satoshi?
This partnership between McKinsey and Yumin could be really impactful, George. They're aiming to help businesses ID where AI can create the most impact, and Quantum Black will focus on deploying scalable systems, which is smart given the challenges McKinsey's research found with adoption. I think a key area they should focus on, George, is making the transition practical and accessible for employees, not just providing advanced tech. They could also explore ways to standardize ethical guidelines, which could strengthen responsible adoption, George. Overall, it seems like a strong collaboration.
Absolutely, Satoshi, and I'm so glad you mentioned all of these points as well. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the second news, and this is connected to Dubai's RTA, that is Road and Transport Authority. And here's the thing, guys, a new system will predict marine transport demand in real time, and this is because the Road Transport Authority, guys, they have launched a new AI-powered system for marine transport services in Dubai, and the system uses artificial intelligence and predictive analysis to forecast passenger demand in real time. And this initiative, guys, aims to improve flexibility and efficiency across Dubai's marine transport network, and the upgraded summer operation plan will officially start in just a matter of few months, 1st of July if I'm not mistaken. And the system, guys, uses big data to track passenger numbers, revenue and occupancy rate, and AI will also help RTA adjust transport schedules, and this would be particularly helping during busy seasons, holidays and major events. And here's the thing, guys, the goal is pretty simple. Using artificial intelligence, they want to make faster, smart operational decisions as demand changes, and advances in in-house algorithms were developed to analyze large amount of transport data. And here's the interesting thing, Satoshi. AI models can simulate passenger demand and optimize marine transport scheduling, and passenger feedback is also included to make services match real customer demands. Now, regarding this news, Satoshi, do you want to go ahead and add anything more?
Sure, George. Definitely an interesting news. And here's the thing, guys. The system also helps improve operational and financial sustainability. Seasonal operating plans can now adapt independently, depending on travel demand, which is pretty smart. RTA says service quality will remain stable, even during changing passenger volumes, so you can rely on it. This initiative supports Dubai's vision for smarter and more advanced mobility solutions, so they're really thinking big. AI tools will help balance customer satisfaction with operational efficiency, making sure everything runs smoothly. Modern computing applications are being used to forecast marine transport usage more accurately, trying to be precise. And Dubai continues expanding the use of AI and smart technology in public transportation systems. They're not slowing down.
Absolutely correct, Satoshi. Definitely a great news. And as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, when you talk about artificial intelligence, the use case is already in different areas, isn't it? Now look, Satoshi, we talk about blockchain technology, isn't it? Now, according to you, what are the areas blockchain technology merges with this news? Do you want to tell our listeners some use cases where potentially blockchain technology could play a pivotal role in this?
Well, George, blockchain could make marine transport data really secure and tamper-proof. For instance, real-time data stored on it could improve transparency and trust between operators and regulators. AI systems, George, could use that verified data to make more accurate demand predictions. Imagine, George, blockchain-based smart tickets could automate payments and boarding. Also, integrating crypto or digital payments could allow faster and seamless transactions, and it can even boost cybersecurity. Different transport systems, George, could securely share data, and smart contracts could automatically adjust schedules based on passenger demand and AI forecasts. Combined with AI, George, blockchain analytics could help Dubai optimize operations and reduce fraud.
Now look, Satoshi, the whole idea and the promise of blockchain technology sounds great, but according to me, I don't think so. Blockchain technology would be ideal in this case, and I'm literally talking about three factors: time, cost, and quality. And you also need to remember, Satoshi, when you talk about blockchain technology, we are talking about open blockchain, and according to me, there's nothing called as permission blockchain. Another word for that is software, isn't it? But here's the thing, Satoshi, what about Hyperledger? Don't you think in such cases, maybe things like Hyperledger Or maybe Hedera Hashgraph would be an ideal platform in comparison to, let's say, using blockchain technology.
Well, using blockchain gives you a level of security and transparency that you don't typically get with traditional systems, because once data is added, it's very hard to alter. You also get traceability of every transaction, which can be key for trust and compliance, whereas standard databases are usually more centralized and can be modified. Does that distinction make sense?
It does make a lot of sense, Satoshi, but here's the thing. I don't think so these things could actually work on open blockchain, because block production is ridiculously slow, isn't it? And when you're talking about, let's say, buying tickets or updating the ledger, we want things to be extremely fast, isn't it? So I don't see use case of blockchain technology in my honest opinion. And this is the area where I think things should go beyond blockchain technology. And this is the area where Hedera Hashgraph kicks in, and maybe even other protocols.
So you're right, George. Scalability and speed can be real challenges for public blockchains and high-volume real-time systems like ticketing. Alternative technologies like Hedera's Hashgraph or DAG protocols like IOTA are designed to handle higher transaction rates with lower latency.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. And for our listeners, they should know that DAG is directed acyclic graph. So maybe Dubai's RTA can actually go and implement some of these protocols. Definitely an interesting point, isn't it, Satoshi? So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Hey everyone, this is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and the metaverse. And we have a question from Rami. He asks, how accurate can AI demand prediction become when combined with blockchain verified transport data?
This is such an excellent question, and according to me, Satoshi, am I right in saying, when you talk about accuracy, most often the not will be 100%, isn't it? Unless the data is completely wrong, which by the way can completely happen with blockchain verified transport data. Now look, Satoshi, am I right in saying blockchain data only validates the information that is actually put in. So if wrong information is uploaded onto the blockchain, the wrong information will stay on the blockchain forever. And if that is the case, there is a very high possibility that AI demand prediction can completely go off the chart. What do you think of that, Satoshi?
That's a really important point, George. Blockchain only guarantees the data hasn't been changed, not that it was correct to begin with. So if there's garbage data in, AI predictions will definitely be misleading. To get accurate predictions, you still need robust data validation processes before it gets on the chain, whether that's through sensor checks or other methods. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say. Combining data quality with blockchain permanence is really the key.
So what is the solution, Satoshi, we can come up with? Let's say if there's blockchain technology merging with artificial intelligence, do you think there should be some kind of human verification in order to go ahead and ensure that right information is uploaded onto the blockchain? But if that is the case, it defeats the whole purpose of having blockchain technology, isn't it? Because there is a very high possibility that human can be corrupted as well.
That's the crucial dilemma, George. Relying on humans could introduce bias or corruption, undermining the trust a decentralized system offers. One approach is to have multi-layered validation, maybe multiple sensors cross-checking each other, or automated checks that need multiple data points to match before acceptance. You could also use smart contracts that penalize providers for presenting faulty data. It's about building checks and balances into the system itself, rather than relying solely on a single point of failure, human or otherwise.
What about oracles, Satoshi? What role do you think oracles can actually play in this? Now look, when it comes to oracle as well, Satoshi, it is important to understand we are talking about a distributed or decentralized oracle as opposed to having a centralized oracle, right?
Exactly, George. Oracles are the bridge between off-chain data and the blockchain. A decentralized oracle network can pull data from multiple sources, verify consistency, and present the most probable answer to the smart contract. This adds a layer of resistance to faulty individual data points, similar to the multi-layered validation idea. Chainlink is a good example of this in action. So decentralized oracles could definitely help bring more reliable transport data on-chain for those AI models.
But going back to the question, Satoshi, am I right in saying that AI demand prediction can definitely be combined with blockchain technology, but at the same time there are a couple of hindrances as well, and this is more with information that actually goes into the blockchain, isn't it?
You're right, George. Combining AI demand prediction with blockchain transport data holds a lot of potential, but the main hurdles are data quality being guaranteed before it enters the block, and the risk of biased information causing wrong predictions. Ensuring data is accurate beforehand and using decentralized oracles for input validation are critical steps, but there's always that tension between human verification and preserving the trustless nature of blockchain. So yes, both opportunity and significant challenges work together.
Definitely a great question, Rami, and definitely work needs to be done on this. I think it is a great area to do a lot more research on. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything See Some Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays we are Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process, we look at the latest technological development, we look at geopolitical news, because politics and politicians, they definitely have a massive impact not just on the process, even on the future trajectory and direction of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We talk about different partnerships. Then, guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for joining us and have a great day. Bye-bye.